Joe. Okay.
Joe, when I was at Motorola, I got in a position to hire my own agency.
Okay.
And the first agency I personally hired was Joe Anthony's agency called Vital Marketing.
Right.
And he did an event for me for a new phone that we had coming out called the Accompli. And we are technophiles to the nth degree. And I used to send my phones to folks and they would find bugs, it was crazy. So we had this amazing event. I pulled him on as my first personal agency that I acquired, and we did some amazing work together. So we had been, kind of friendly for years and years and years. And he had a birthday party the year before, and we were all down in Jamaica celebrating his birthday, and we were talking about it, like, we should do this. So Dre was there. I think only person wasn't there that I can think of is Walt, but everybody else was in Jamaica.
Fire.
And that's where we were all like, we should do this. And then, once somebody says we should do this, and then you make the phone calls. So Joe was like, hey, a few months later, he was like, remember we were talking about it? And I was like, yeah. And he said, I think we're going to do it. You in? And I'm like, count me in. And that's how it all began.
That's fire. Man, shout out to Joe. We didn't get Joe. We got everybody on the show but Joe.
I would say Joe is absolutely the lead founder for sure. He is the brains on this. Really put the energy, the muscle. No doubt about it. It's without him really leading the charge, it wouldn't happen. Also, never paid to the other founders, but
no, listen, let me tell you something, Monique. One thing that we have to understand as a culture, and sometimes we struggle with this, right, is valuing ourselves. Just like you said, like Joe took the lead on this one. It doesn't make your value any less. It doesn't make Walt or anybody else's value any less. Joe just took the lead. Me and Cuzzo talk about this all the time, right? There's guests that we have on that Cuzzo connects to because he has way more expertise and experience, and he takes the lead, and I don't feel no sort of way because it's a better conversation. You have more information, you have more related. It is what it is. We have a common goal, but see, again, we have to get out of that mindset as a culture of truly get out of the individualism and really truly understand what a team looks like, right?
Absolutely. The key to leadership. One of the keys to leadership is understanding when to lead and when to follow.
There it is. Method. And you still can lead, but just lead in your own way. That's
Absolutely. We all have different styles. So listen, I would never.
Yeah.
I think you give credit where it's due as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if she had a hard stop, but you have a hard stop, Monique? You have one for more question or two, or
what question or two? Yes.
All right, now Des, I want to make a toast with all of us for the 200th episode.
Absolutely.
I love this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to ask the question first, and I'll make the toast at the end.
Go ahead, Nadesh.
Okay. So I had a question in regards to marketing and the culture. So we know that those are deeply connected. So how do you think like marketing and branding shapes the culture, and how culture shapes marketing and branding? And how should businesses tap into that culture without just capitalizing on it?
Oh boy. I mean, well, right now the good part is we got data.
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
And I think at this stage of the game, we came through a journey of there not being enough data about us in particular. And now that is really not the case. Now you just decide not to care. The data's there, right? I was here when the data wasn't. Right? I'm old enough to remember those days of like, there's just a pot of Black people over here. No, it's not a pot, right? We actually know who these people are. We know what they bring to the marketplace. We know how they move. We know why they move. And I think that's the critical understanding. As we are still the growth engine, not only in the US, but in the world, it is critical that we understand how the decisions get made and why. And most of the time, growth is not something somebody's going to say no to, but they may say no to how it is packaged or delivered.
Method.
Super savvy around the data, understanding the data, why are those triggers matter, and then ultimately building the work that's going to deliver. I love the pretty pictures of it all, but now we know what it's going to take to make that sale. So now, unfortunately, We used to ideate all the time about what we were going to do. Now we're pretty granular about what we need to do. Now we can build something beautiful that's still going to deliver on the KPIs for the client. So at the end of the day, remember, this is not our money. And our job is to make our clients money. This is not a not-for-profit.
Yeah.
Right? We own business here.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, let's be business minded, stay there, always know that there's a reason.